Hey, and welcome to the first episode of Bardic Inspiration. So this is just an idea that I had once I got access to Google Bard that I thought would be pretty fun. So here's the concept. We have here the Google Bard chat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to basically just ask it to produce me a D&D character background or backstory or, anything like that. And then we're going to actually build that character in D&D Beyond and just take the inspiration from Bard and use it to create a fully fleshed out character on D&D Beyond. So this first one, I thought I would just do something pretty generic. We're just going to say, hey, Bard, let's write us a background for our D&D character. So let's just go ahead and get started. Write us a background. And let's see what happens. All right, just waiting. Okay, sure. I can help you write a background for your D&D character. Here are some things to consider. Okay, so no, this isn't exactly what I want. Oh, here we go. Here is a sample background that we can use as a starting point. So, our background is a folk hero. We're going to have the skills animal handling, performance, and survival. And the tool proficiencies are herbalism kit and proficiency with land vehicles. Okay. Rustic hospitality, we already got that. Looks like it picked out our personality traits for us and everything. Okay, so what I probably should have done is ask about the backstory. So let's see how smart this thing is. If I just go ahead and say, what is this character's backstory? Let's see what that gives us. So we already know that we're going to be making a folk hero. Okay, look at this. It actually already gave us a name and a race. Wow, this is going to be even easier than I thought. So let's learn about Anya, the first character we're going to be making here. Anya grew up in a small village on the edge of a dark forest. She was always a kind and compassionate child, and she loved spending time in the forest with her animals. One day, a group of bandits attacked the village, and Anya's parents were killed. She was the only survivor. Anya vowed to avenge her parents' death and set out to learn how to fight. She traveled the land, learning from different teachers and mastering the skills of a warrior. She also learned to use her compassion and kindness to help others in need. Anya is now a skilled warrior and a respected folk hero. She is always willing to help those in need, and she is always fighting for justice. She's a symbol of hope for the common people, and she is an inspiration to all who know her. Well, so far, I kind of like Anya. Here's some additional details that we can add to the backstory. She could have a special connection to the animals in the forest. She could have been raised by a pack of wolves or could have been had a magical bond with a particular animal. That sounds very ranger-y to me. And as we haven't actually been given a class, I think that's what we're going to be ended up doing. I think I will be doing this as like a Beastmaster Ranger. Okay, Anya could have a rival or nemesis from her past. Could be one of the bandits who killed her parents. I like that as well. Or it could be someone else who has wronged her. And she could have a secret that's keeping her, that she's keeping from others. Could be something that she's ashamed of, or it could be something that she's afraid others are going to find out. Hope this helps. This absolutely helps, Bard. I think we have everything we need to get started. So, what you'll see here is the main page on D&D Beyond. We're just going to go in here to Collections and My Characters. So if you actually haven't used D&D Beyond before, this will actually probably work as a decent tutorial as we're going to kind of just walk through the creation process. You see that I do this a lot. I have 108 characters on here. I like making characters, which is why I thought this would be fun. So we're just going to go ahead and create a new one here. So we're going to go ahead and just do the standard design. And we'll just start. Name of our character is Anya. Let's go ahead and pick a picture for Anya here. We do know that she is human, I believe. Yes. So maybe we'll wait till we'll actually pick the race, because I think that'll limit that. So just kind of going down through here, I'm going to leave most of this clicked. I'll also select non-core D&D content. This basically just lets me select all sorts of different homebrew content or from all the different books. We're also going to turn on the optional features because we may make use of those, especially if we're going to make a ranger. The optional features for ranger are very, very good. Those presented in Tasha's. And we'll just go ahead. We'll make this public so that I can share it out once we're done. All right, next page, we will choose a race. This is simple enough. It already told us that she's going to be a human. So we will come down here to the humans. And you'll see I actually have some homebrew stuff in here, especially from Kupo Quest that you can see. So we'll go past this human and we'll go down to the standard human. And by standard, I think I mean variant human, because that's always my favorite one. This feat, I feel like at first level, just lets you really kind of have a more fleshed out character and something that kind of speaks more to what you're trying to build. So, languages. Let's start. Let's think about Anya. What are we making? So, Anya's a folk hero human who definitely has a connection to the forest, definitely a connection to animals. So apart from common, perhaps she had some ties with the elves. You know, especially living next to the forest. Maybe she was. It says raised by wolves, but I could see her falling in with a pack of elves as well. So two different ability score increases. So we're going to be making her a ranger. So I'm definitely going to give her. Let's see, Dex, and let's go with Wisdom because that's the spellcasting modifier. Okay, so skills. Let's make sure that we don't double up here because I believe she already has some skills from her folk hero, animal handling. So that's going to be perfect. Performance and survival. So I just don't want to double up on any of those. So she'll probably be very good at stealthing, I would think. I think that's really appropriate for a ranger, especially if she was living in the woods for most of her life. On her own for a while, she probably had to get pretty good at sneaking around. And then a feat. Let's see. Thinking about what she is, I'm always one to go with the sharpshooter feat for my rangers. I really like it. I think it's a great feat, especially to take at a low level. So attacking at long range doesn't impose disadvantage. I would imagine that even though she has this connection to the animals, she probably had to hunt a lot in order to feed herself once her parents were killed. So, and she probably practiced that for the day that she was finally going to go after these bandits. So let's go ahead and stick with the sharpshooter feat. Like we said, I think we're already going to stick with the ranger. What I am going to do is I'm going to build her at level 3 here. And the reason I'm doing that is because that way I can go ahead and pick a ranger archetype because I really want to bring in this beastmaster because I think that her connection to the animals is really such a core part of the prompt that Bard gave us that we want to make sure that that's reflected in the character we're building. So I'm going to go ahead and just start creating her at basic level 3. Okay, so more proficiencies here. So we know that she already has animal handling. From this, let's go back up here and see what else she's got. Performance and survival. Okay, so let's see. Actually, I'm going to jump ahead. Just going to go ahead and jump ahead to the description. And the reason I'm going to do that is because it'll actually backfill some of this stuff out. So for the background, I'm going to go ahead and select the folk hero background. And then that will go ahead and give her the animal handling and survival skills here. And that will check off both of these skills. That does leave performance that we need to pick up. So we can pick that up either back in the ranger. And if it's not a part of that, I'll go back to the race and pick that one up and just shuffle things around just a little bit. Tool proficiencies, land vehicle, and herbalism kit. So we'll go ahead and make sure that she has that too. Let's see. I am not seeing it here unless I am just overlooking it. Yeah, so we might have to work around that just a little bit. Yeah, not seeing an herbalism kit here. Okay. So for right now, let's say the closest thing would probably be let's do leatherworking. I could see someone like a ranger being good at leatherworking. So all right, back to the class. Let's just see if performance is one of these. It's not. So what I'm going to do is going to go back to race, and I'm going to use this skill and change it from stealth to performance. Now, what we've got here is we've got the animal handling clicked off, the performance, and the survival. We've got the vehicles, and we've got a substitution for the herbalism kit. So let's see. Let's go back now to building out our ranger. I'm going to go ahead and just leave HP as fixed. I just think it's easier to manage, and especially for what we're doing here, I don't really think we need anything else. So proficiencies. Now I'm going to pick up that stealth. And what's really nice about D&D Beyond here is it'll show which ones are already coming from folk hero and which ones are coming from like survival and animal handling. So I know I'll pick stealth. Let's see what else. Do we think that she would be good at nature for sure? I believe. And then perception's always a really good one to have. And I think that it's probably better for her than athletics. I could see when I think of rangers, I always think of, people that are used to looking out for things, the keeping an eye open. So I'm going to go with perception there. Now, favored enemy. Now, this is something that we can get rid of if we want to, because with Tasha's and the optional features, we can actually change this to favored foe. But based on the story we got from Bard, I do think it makes sense to leave her favorite enemy as humanoids. Now, why? Because of the bandits that killed her parents. So, a group of bandits attacked the village, and her parents were killed. So, I think it would make sense that she is, going after humanoids. And I would assume that they were a band of humans and, let's say, elves. Because of this, she probably picked up another language studying them, but she already knows Elvish. So actually, let's say they were elves. They were humans and dwarves, and she picked up Dwarvish while she was basically studying how to hunt these people. There we go. Now, natural explorer. You're particularly familiar with one type of natural environment. I think this is pretty obvious based on what we have and what we know about her. She was grown up very close to the forest. So I think that she's definitely going to have the favored terrain of forest. And a fighting style. Now, this one isn't as clear from the background we got, so we can kind of go with whatever we want to here. Rangers in my head are archers. Just typically, I really like playing them as such. So I'm just going to go ahead and give her archery. That's what I think I'm going to go with. Now, since we have leveled her up to level 3, she's already got the spellcasting feature. So this is going to be fun too. We can pick a couple spells for her as well. So don't have anything to pick there. But coming up to the top, we can go pick out a couple of spells. So let's see what we got. We've got 3 first level spells. Okay. So the purpose of this, building the character, is I want to build the character to where it's functional, to where you could take this and play it in a game if you wanted to, but also keeping it as close to what Bard has suggested as possible. So a mix of, spells I think would actually be worth taking, but also trying to stay on brand. For instance, we've got Animal Friendship here and we've got Beast Bond. To be honest, looking at the two of them, I usually end up liking something like Animal Friendship just a little bit better. But we could take both if we want. We do have 3. Let's take a look. So this spell lets you convince a beast that you mean it no harm, which I think kind of fits in with the background that we've gotten from Anya here, especially if it's a wolf or something like that. Telepathic link with the beast. To be honest, I think I'm going to pick up both of these. I think I'm going to pick up Beast Bond and Animal Friendship. Now, keeping in mind the type of character, I'm not really building her to be like a support or a healer, so I'm going to let Cure Wounds go by. But I do think I need to pick up Hunter's Mark. It's just a very good spell. I think it's always good for your especially your low level rangers to have. Now, one thing I do want to do because we're dealing with a ranger is with the optional feature manager, we can take this primal companion. And what this does is it does expand the Beastmaster just a little bit. So you basically would pick one of 3, the beast of the land, sea, or sky, and they have particular stat blocks. And what this allows them to do is because they're a little more restricted, instead of just here's a bunch of beasts you can pick from, they kind of open it up and let you use it a little bit more than you would a standard beast, especially by letting them attack with like bonus actions and things like that. So I am going to pick up Primal Companion. I do like that one. We won't worry about this stuff because it's 10th level and below. But we will click on the additional ranger spells. The spellcasting focus. And let's do martial versatility because it's always nice to have that. Um, Now, what we are going to do is leave this deft explorer and favored foe alone, like I said. Now, building a ranger today, not based on this, I do tend to pick these up because I really think that having canny is very, very beneficial at level 1. By proficiency bonuses doubling, you basically get expertise on something. And then you just get some really good things with favored foe. Kind of acts as a mini hunter's mark that kind of takes away that necessity of having a particular enemy that you're going after. But for now, sticking with the character, I think that that's where we're going to go. Oh, and Primal Companion. We will pick a beast of the land, and I'm assuming that that will take on the form of a wolf. So this is just how what I was talking about. This was introduced in Tasha's. This is beast of the land, so it's not a particular animal, but you can flavor it to be whatever kind of land animal you want. And then it basically just has some additional stat blocks here that you can edit these as you need to. Maul could be bite, but it kind of normalizes some of these damage modifiers and things like that, and allows you to use your bonus action to command them to do things, which is a little different than the base player's handbook ranger. Okay, so getting to ability scores. This might be controversial, but I usually like to just do standard array when I'm building a new character. I find that it's really easy to just kind of jump in. It has basically just an array of numbers that you pick from, and you take those and just build them into your character. No rolling, no point buy. Those are both great ways to do it. But for the purposes of this, I feel like it just makes a well balanced character to do it this way. So, first thing I think we should do is go ahead and make our dexterity 15. So with our +1 from our human, that's going to take this up to 16. So we're already going to be starting out with a +3 modifier. Now, the next thing I like to do is try to make sure things are even because your modifiers go up on even numbers, even scores. So because we're getting a +1 to wisdom, I'm actually inclined to give this the 13 because what that's going to do is it's going to put this at a +2. And now we have our 14 freed up for something else. And I'm probably going to go with Constitution because Constitution is going to help us with our HP and things like that. Now, so we have a +3, a +2, and a +2. I imagine that to survive on your own, you have to be pretty smart. So Intelligence is the next one I'm going to pick, which is 12. Then Strength, because I think that, you'd at least be average strength, even if you were more of a limber, dexterous type hunter. And then Charisma, 8, because I think especially this part, um, perhaps she could have magical bond, and I think it said something about raised by wolves. Yeah, she could have been raised by a pack of wolves. I don't think that's going to lend itself to being very charismatic when you're talking to other humanoids. So I'm going to leave that one as the lowest one at 8. Okay, now we can pick a picture. So now that it's kind of reduced us to human, it's kind of limited it. So we can take a look and see what fits this character the best. Now, you can always upload your own, but for the sake of this, I think I'm just going to pick one of the ones in here. We have the benefit of her being a human, so they have the most options available on D&D Beyond because there's just a lot of humans. So, let's see. Nothing so far has jumped out at me. I kind of like this one. I think that might look good. Let's see. See if we find anything that we like a little better. This one I kind of like with the red hair. It reminds me a little bit of Merida from Brave. So I'm kind of liking that. Oh no, here we go. This one, I mean, you can also see in this one, it looks like she's trying to pull back an arrow. Yeah, this is Anya, I think. This is our Anya. Okay, let's see. So, rustic hospitality, and I believe it actually already gave us suggested characteristics. So let's see. Yeah, I'm always willing to help those in need. So let's take it. Let's see if these are in here. I'm always willing to help those in need, even if it means putting myself in danger. Okay. I have a deep love of nature and animals. Okay. So these aren't actually listed here. So I'm probably not going to type these out for now. Bit of a wanderer, always looking for new places to explore. Okay. Let's see if there's anything close. Always wanting to lend a hand. That's a nice personality trait that lines up pretty easily. Let's use long words. Let's see. Ideal kindness. Okay, so I believe that everyone deserves to be treated with kindness and compassion. We'll go with respect. I think that lines up just the same. Flaw, I'm too trusting of others, sometimes to my own detriment. Let's see. People who knew me. See, this is the opposite. I have trouble trusting my allies. Okay. So that flaw is not there, so we can add that one in. And there's always a way to add these in later as well. You can come down here and add a flaw or add a bond. So we can actually type these out, even if they're not appearing in the configurator. Actually, let's see if I can just copy and paste it in real quick. So this bond, yeah, there we go. And then the flaw, too trusting of others. And like I said, I think that the ideal and the personality trait we picked were close enough to the intent. Okay. So let's last thing, starting equipment. Let's see. I think we wanted her to be stealthy, so I'm going to go with leather armor because I believe scale mail gives us disadvantage if I remember correctly. We'll go to short swords, an explorer's pack because she's a wanderer, not a dungeon delver. Longbow, we've got that. A set of artisan's tools. Um, I think she was a leather worker, if I remember correctly. We'll add the starting equipment. All right, with that, it's time to check out our character sheet. All right, so here she is, Anya. There's a couple things that I like to do before I say a D&D Beyond character is complete, and that is completely like theme it up based on the character that we are designing. So first of all, I'm going to equip her stuff. Make sure that we get all of her armor class and everything. But now, if you click on your character up here, you can actually come over and we can look at our character sheet appearance. All right. So now we can change our sheet appearance. Let's look at the theme, first of all. Let's take a look at that. And I'm going to do Underdark mode. I just like it better. So let's see. We've got our portrait, our frame. So let's take a look at our frame because the default one's not my favorite. So let's just kind of take a look through here. If we could find something that has a wolf, that would be great. That would fit her so well based on the story that we know. And now you'll notice I do have a lot of frames. You get these frames from pre-ordering books, and so far I've pre-ordered everything. So I do have a lot of frames to choose from. Some of them we can go right by because they're not really going to fit. I do think green kind of fits, just an animated, so we'll leave that one there for now as just kind of a placeholder. But let's see if we can find anything that we think fits a lot better. Oh, animated spirit. Those are animal spirits, though. Let's see. Vampiric mist. That's a cool one, but not really what we're looking for. Guide. Oh, here's a decent one. I mean, she's not. That one looks kind of papery. I don't really like that one so much. I just saw an owl and got kind of excited. Here's a ranger one. This one actually is kind of nice. If we don't find anything else, it's kind of got the bow and quiver, so that's pretty cool. Actually, I might just leave that one if I can't find a wolf. So far, that's my favorite one. Yep. All right, so let's move on to the theme. Okay, so we've got red, bunch of different colors here. Now, we can always just stick with the standard Ranger Emerald Green. You know, that one's always a pretty decent one to go with, especially with your Rangers. I don't know, green just always seems to fit Rangers for me, and especially since she was raised near a forest, I think that still works for her as well. Frozen Sea, that's a pretty green. Jade Enigma. Ooh, I like that one. It's kind of darker green. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go with that one. And then finally, the backdrop. This is my favorite part because this really lets you bring in some actual. This lets you bring in some actual uniqueness to the character. So this is where we can try to find maybe there's a wolf here too, or something along those lines. Definitely looking for something with a forest type background. So I know these are really hard to see. They're actually hard to see even when using D&D Beyond. Oh, that one's kind of nice. And then in a minute I'll blow it up so we can take a look at it. But this one just looks kind of like trees, nice little dark green background. Oh, I like that one. This one even has a deer here you can't really see right now, but we'll take a look in just a second. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we found it. All right, so let's take a look. So this is what we've got, and I will kind of zoom out here because this lets you see the full background. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think this is it. I mean, so this is a nice foresty background, a little druidy, but still I think fits the character that we're kind of designing. I also think the background looks really good with this kind of dark green that we've gone with for the actual theme. And then it really kind of, just drives home the ranger aspect of it with the frame that we've chosen. So there we go. That is Anya. So that's thank you, Bard, for the suggestion. We have taken just a simple command from Bard and built a fully fleshed out character in Anya here that you can take and play with your D&D campaign if you want to. Pretty entry level kind of ranger. Nothing really too exciting or fancy about her. She's a Beastmaster, which comes directly from the player's handbook, so nothing out of any of the expansions. I believe that for the most part, with the exception of that one Tasha choice that I made, you could play this character with the basic rules. I'm not really seeing anything outside the basic rules that you would need. And even that one thing from Tasha's that I chose isn't really necessary. I think it was just some additional expanded spells. And we actually selected spells before I even got to that point. So, yeah, Anya is a nice entry level ranger for anyone who wants to just take her and jump into a game. Decent background here. Interesting story. It's got some nice hooks about being able to, with the people that killed her family. So it gives you and your DM something to work with if you want to work that into your story. So, yeah, thank you, Bard. This has been really fun. So let me know what you think about the character. If you've never used D&D Beyond, it's worth checking out. It's the official toolset from Wizards of the Coast. They have a free version, free character builder, and you have access to all of the basic rules. If you've purchased anything, then you have access to anything from the books themselves that Wizards has published. With the exception of Tal'Dorei Reborn, which is from Darrington Press, and it's the first third-party one. I've got another video on my channel about that. But yeah, there we go. Anya. I will make the link to her character sheet available in the description of this video if you want to check it out, if you want to play as her, or just kind of look over what we've done here. And then if you have any questions, just reach out. If you have a suggestion for what you would like me to ask Bard in the future, let me know, and we'll just kind of see what he gives us. And as we go, we do more of these. We'll try to get more and more creative with the questions that we ask. This one was meant to be kind of a test run. I was doing this just kind of live, so I'm glad that it worked out the way that it did. But yeah, this was kind of fun. So yeah, any suggestions, leave them in the comments below, and let's have some fun with Bard next time. Until then, see you later.